Okay, it's finally time to go ahead and kickstart our newest hair transformation on myself this time. So I did just do a spooky hair transformation. And in that video, I actually used up all the rest of my 9+ Lift bleach powder from BLONDME Schwarzkopf. So normally on a bleach video, that's what I would be using. But because I'm stubborn and I'm just kind of going through a lot lately, I just really wanted to go ahead and get started on this. So I'm just going to go ahead against my better judgment and just see if I have enough of their 7-lift bleach to go ahead and do my roots. This is what we're working with. All right, so normally I would use their 9+ lift, and there's literally just the tiniest bit of powder in here, not even enough to even really mix much. So I have this in case there's like a tiny little bit that I miss where I need to touch up somehow. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use, this is their 7-lift, which is their precision lightener for on the scalp applications. You can use their 9-lift on the scalp as well. This one's supposed to have just a little less swelling and, like, you know, like it says, be more precise. And because it's only a 7-lift, it's just going to be a little bit easier on the scalp. But basically, this one lifts up to 7 levels and the other one up to 9. I have used this before, but because it is 7-lift, I'm going to go in with 20 volume from BLONDME Schwarzkopf. So this is their 6% 20 volume. Normally, I've been using their 7 volume with the 9-lift, and I just have really good luck with that. As you guys can see, I have pretty dark roots, and doing that normally lifts me pretty light. So if this is your first time here, I'll go ahead and link my bleach playlist below so you can check out all the different ways that we've tried bleaching my hair. But this is my OG, my go-to, my ride or die. One of my favorite brands of bleaches so far is the BLONDME from Schwarzkopf. My pronunciations are off. It's been a long day. So this brand already has a bond protection system just right in the formula. They do not recommend adding any of your own into it. They're pretty clear about that in the instructions. It says additional bonding system may compromise performance. So they already have the kind of bonders in there, so you don't need to add in like your OLAPLEX or anything like that. Normally, I've been also using K18 as my follow-up treatment after bleaching, but I also just used all the rest of that in my last video. But it was totally worth it, and I'm so glad I did because her hair turned out absolutely stunning, and I just really love it, and she loves it, and that's what matters. So I believe for my aftercare, I'm going to be using my leave-in conditioner. Also is going to have some keratin like proteins in there, but I think I'm going to use my BONDBAR system. So obviously not the same as like an OLAPLEX or a K18, which each have their own different ways of mending the hair after it's been through some trauma like we're going to put mine through today. But also just, you know, that upkeep for after. It's really important to take care of your hair, balancing that moisture and that protein and just whatever else. So that being said, I'm going to do my best with like what I have, like I said, with the BONDBAR and things like that. I do have my K18 kind of like prep mist at least to give me like a little bit extra protection in there. But like I said, there's already bonders in the BLONDME. I'm more concerned about protecting where it might overlap type of situation. So I did really like the technique that we used in my last bleach video, which is where I decided to go ahead and bleach from the front going back and leave out the hairline, just different things like that. And I felt like it really worked for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Where I originally found this technique was from Sabrina the Hair Witch on Instagram. I believe she's a L'Oreal ambassador or L'Oreal bleach ambassador, or just L'Oreal pro ambassador. Either way, she's a bleach expert. I think she's absolutely lovely, and I came across her page, and that's where I got the idea for how I'm going to bleach my hair today. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I know originally I was going to fill you guys in a little bit more during my bleach video on just kind of what's been going on, but to be honest, like I said, I'm just still in the middle of so many things just all at once. In the upcoming videos, as I have kind of more stuff kind of figured out in my life and what's actually, you know, going on, you know, I'll go ahead and fill you guys in. So like I said, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, the best therapy for me is hair. It always makes me feel better. So I hope that this video helps you feel better in some way. Okay, so let's just go ahead and bleach some hair. As far as what we have to work with, so we have a decent amount. Will it be enough? I'm really not sure. So as you can see with their 7-lift, it's more of like a white powder. Their 9-lift is like a blue powder, so it kind of tones it a little bit more as it goes. And they also have a clay lightener. They have the 9-lift, the 7-lift, and I believe they have a clay lightener, which the clay ones are usually used for more like open air processing, things like that. Different kind of situation. So we're just going to go ahead and use what we have here. Like I said, I'm going to start at the front. And that way, if I do run out, it's going to be way towards the back, which shouldn't really be an issue. I believe we could work with that. But hopefully we just have enough in general. So I went ahead and checked, and it's been about 2 months since we bleached my roots last time. So all this regrowth that you're seeing is about 2 months. And I do have gray hairs coming in. I'm getting closer to 40, so I do have those hairs that I really wanted to show before we bleach, kind of what the color situation is here, so you can see how like where my natural regrowth comes down. You'll probably really be able to see a lot more of my kind of grays as we go through this, but you can see how this teal is a lot more vibrant, like up here towards my roots. That's because none of this was as exposed to the sun. I live in the desert. It's been extremely hot. I think yesterday it was still like 106. And so I did try to kind of expose a little bit more of that over the last few days. And I did do a detox wash with the K18. So I did my best to kind of get that faded teal a little bit more evenly faded all over, so that when we bleach it, it's not too many different colors. I am hoping that after bleaching the roots that it will, you know, go ahead and get rid of just some of this just murky color floating around, just brighten everything up along with it. So the color that I'm looking for my roots to turn out, I'm not going to be like insanely picky about it. I just really want to get them lightened in general. So I thought it would be fun. I have an idea in my head. I'm hoping it works out, but I really just want to kind of go with the flow with this. You know, I just want to live a little. I have a plan, but I don't have a plan. Let's bleach these roots. Here's like our before. It's kind of like how it's faded. And then to section, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it into like basically like 3 quadrants. I'm going to section off my front here. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the back and then like its own entity. Let's sit for 4 minutes to activate. Okay, so definitely not my best sectioning, but I just want to let you guys know the best chance you have of just, you know, a stress-free bleach would be to make sure you like brush out each section. Do your best to have just really clean lines when you do it. Like obviously, like I said, mine's not, but just having all of that real clear for yourself can help you keep a really good pace. Especially if you're like me and you have health problems and everyday tasks and things are already really difficult. So all these little steps and stuff that I explain is just things that help make it easier for me. And so I'm hoping that by telling you some of the things that make it easier for me, it'll help you as well. Some of the things so far I've learned that have made it easier is, like I said, the sectioning, brushing it out. And then I really like these color TRAK clips. You can brush with them, you can like section with them. But I really like that you can go ahead and they'll just hold the hair. You can pre-section stuff. These have been a game changer for me. I do try to list as much stuff as I can that I use in my videos down below in my description. If there's ever anything that I missed, just go ahead, comment, let me know. I'll go ahead and find it for you. So hopefully this doesn't bite me in the butt and make it more stressful, but I only have so much bleach to work with. So I'm just going to kind of have to let it be what it's going to be and just make sure that I really get all the spots that are going to be in the front and just in your face. The front and your face, because I feel like I can work with darker roots towards the back, but not the fronts, not this time. I recommend ventilating when you do this. Even if it doesn't have like a strong kind of ammonia smell or a strong bleach smell, it can still really affect you. I get headaches pretty easily, so that's something I do. So I did the K18 prep mist. So I do have some protection going on before our chemical service. And like I said, there's also bonders already in the bleach. Even though I don't have the K18 mask, I'm still getting some form of their molecular help. I'll just make sure that I do the proper follow-up care. So let's go ahead and just get started. I like to make sure I have a timer. These are super cheap on Amazon. The bleach dust, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I like to do mine in a 1 to 1.5 ratio, which is actually what they recommend already for this one specifically. And so how I simplify that down here, since I don't have like a scale, is I'll just find any kind of measuring cup, any kind of vessel. It doesn't even have to be a measuring cup. Please don't reuse these in your kitchen or anything. I keep these specifically in here with me. Any kiddos or anybody that might confuse them, you know, after I've used chemicals in them. So what that ratio is you have the 1 part bleach powder, which is what we did, one of these. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my 1 part developer, and the cap came right off. So be careful with that. I was going to say with these caps, try to be careful because if you squeeze too hard, they'll pop off. But I guess I just made my life a little easier. So there's my 1:1 ratio. Sometimes I'll honestly even start with 1:1 depending on, you know, how the developer seems like it is. If it's, you know, thicker or thinner. You can always just kind of adjust it to your liking as well. So that was my 1:1. And again, I'm doing 20 volume this time. And that's just because it's a lighter lift and I have really dark roots. 1 to 1.5. So I just put another half of one of these. Like I said, it's not going to be the perfect results that you would get if you're using like a scale like in the salon and stuff, but it works for me. I honestly wish I would have sifted that bleach a little more, but it's too late to turn back now. The chemical process has begun. You can see how that's just like a white color. There's none of that blue in there. It says to mix this and apply right away. I believe it says processing time is 20 to 45 minutes. Always check your manufacturer's instructions. My arm's already tired. We're just getting started. You guys have any favorite tips for mixing bleach? What do you do? What are your tips? What are your tricks? There you go. Honestly, I think that's a good consistency. It's still a little runny, but not over runny. I think I can work with this. So my roots, I don't want it like too runny. I also don't want it so thick it's just gonna dry right out. And luckily we still actually have all that. So this is looking good. It's looking like we'll have enough for my whole head at least, which is nice. Whee! So today I actually want to have this door shut. So I'm gonna have my window over there kind of open for my ventilation. But yeah, just make sure you ventilate, honestly. And I always have towels handy nearby. You can never have too many towels. So now that we got this all figured out, I'm going to anchor down my back a lot tighter so I don't have any of those hairs coming and getting in my way. Okay, so let's start up here. Oh, look at how teal that still is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bleach on my perimeter, which is where I'm going to go on this whole outside line here. Before I start, that just helps me keep my place, and it's going to make sure that all of this outside parts all kind of process evenly. You know, they're not going to be completely different colors. But the main reason I like doing the perimeter is it just helps me keep everything organized, clean, make sure I don't miss any spots. But I do go back and cross-check my hair. So if you're at home and you're doing this, don't worry. You can go back and cross-check. Don't stress. Take as many breaks as you need to and rinse it out if it feels like it's burning or anything. There's no reason to, you know, sacrifice your scalp or yourself or your hair or your health, because you can have such severe reactions. If you haven't actually done bleach with your hair, you don't know too much about it, and you're doing it at home, I would definitely recommend like a strand test, because you just really want to see how you're going to react to how your hair is going to react. I got like a little set of some new frame art brushes for when we did our first hair transformation, and so now I get to use them on me, and aren't they all so pretty, and I love them so much. Just wanted to show some of them off a little bit. That's another thing. I always like to have a bunch of brushes on hand. Just anything you think you're going to need, just have it ready, because we're dealing with chemicals in our hair. So I've mixed the bleach. It's time to apply. Make sure you have your timer. I'm going to go ahead and get my perimeter on my hairline done really quick. Okay, see, there's my perimeters. I should probably lower my chair. Alright, so here's my perimeters. You can see I just kind of tried to make sure I got all those spots. I don't think I like this big brush for right here. No, it's throwing me off. I really like my Ion Color Brilliance ones. See, I just like how they go on the hair. It's a difference. To maybe look more into the bristles. Yeah, see, that's nice. There we go. We're off to a good start. Thin sections, which I'm sure everybody hears a lot. Not just from me, but from plenty of other people who bleach their hair. Thin sections is your best bet. It just saves you a lot of time and a lot of trouble. So even if it's like a pain in the butt, I would still do it. Curiosity, I'm going to just go ahead and set that because I want to see how long this is actually going to take. And so you're just going to go ahead and follow this down until we get to like the sensitive areas around your hairline. I mean, obviously, if you're not worried about your hairline or however you're doing it, you don't have to leave it out. I didn't used to. But if you're like me and you just do this a lot or you have damaged hair, because like I believe the reason for her leaving the hairline out in her video was for like postpartum. So yeah, basically once you get to like these delicate areas like around here, you just leave those out till last. Like you will come back to them and you're just gonna leave them out and continue working down the side here. I'm normally pretty good about thin sections, but we'll see. I'm a little off my game. I also have a 3-way mirror on the other side of my bathroom that helps so much with everything I've done on my hair. I've done like, we've done hollow prism hair and stuff like that. And that 3-way mirror, even though I have to like twist like really awkward ways to see, it's honestly been the best and easiest way. So I know that they sell 3-way mirrors that you can like hang if you want as well. So just something to think about. Oh, my arm is already. And also, if your hair is going to start overlapping too much, you can like, I have foil and stuff like that. You can go ahead and just lay that there to give you kind of like that barrier. And so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that out, on your hairline. And what I like to also sometimes do to make sure my sections are thin enough is I'll actually take the section ahead of time like this, or I put the bleach on it. And then I'll come through while I'm holding on to it, put the bleach on. And then when I lift it, I can see how much I can see through it or not. Like, see, this was maybe just a tiny bit too thick of a section right here. I'm going to have more of a chance of missing or having spots there. And so that's just another, this is kind of like the way I like to do it the most. And we're also going to work our way back up over to start on the other side. So you also have another opportunity, lots of opportunities. See if you missed anything. So you can see how like as long as your, oops, I didn't grab first. You can see like as long as your sections are sectioned smoothly enough, that's kind of what helps you move at a good pace. If you section it all crazy and try to rush through it, even if you know what you're doing, it can really slow you down. So yeah, even though it can be a pain and time consuming, you have just nice clean sectioning, which I mess that up quite a bit, and I always get frustrated with myself when I don't take the time to do it. I do also keep water and a rag, like a little spray bottle of water, wet rag in case you need to wipe any bleach off. So if it does get anywhere or does anything, just go ahead and wipe it off. Or if something's over processing, I'm like, it came through a little bit on there. And then you could always just go back and section it smaller. Just give yourself a good double check. See, no, it went through. We're good. This reminds me of in beauty school. I just thought it was the most coolest thing ever. I had like, I don't know, black, blue, green. Like we had the brand new permanent colors and I got to be a guinea pig. And so then I decided to bleach my roots and just leave them like this yellow, super yellow blonde color. It's more yellow. And I just left it that way on purpose. And I was like now everyone will maybe think I'm a natural blonde. I think that was what, I can't remember. It was so funny. Like here's a picture. I actually have a picture. But then yeah, I was taking Cosmo too, so we did like nails and stuff as well. And we were doing like an acrylic nail class, and I had to do them on myself, and I matched them to my hair. So funny. Honestly, still have like 4 MRIs I have to get in the next, I don't know, I think week, and then I have to possibly add on more to that. I don't know. So what's a little bleach on my hair when I'm gonna just be around so much radiation? And also, if you've been following my channel and you were curious, my surgery that I had to reschedule is now scheduled for mid-October. Yeah, wish me luck, everybody. Do any of you have any kind of major things coming up? Just in general, it doesn't have to be anything like that. Any good, good, awesome things coming up for anybody? Any special occasions or stuff like that? Well, I did overlap a little bit there, yeah. To help prevent overlap too, that's one of the reasons I do like to use those smaller brushes that can make that a little easier. Go back to this one. I'm still obsessed with this peach color. We used all Chroma Daddy hair dye. This is this Peach Please, and I love it so much. The other one was Tide Pool, which I also love, but I'm just digging this. The way this peach faded and everything is cool. Cool. Well, I meant to leave that out, but now that one part got bleached, I can't have them two uneven. So anyways, just leave that out, like I said, till very, very last. Basically, we're going to move on to the other side. So now I'm just repeating the same thing on the other side, and like I said, as I moved the hair back down, I was able to see if I missed any spots or just needed a little extra bleach. And then yeah, just leaving out that side hairline and thin sections. If you feel like you're getting off track here when you're doing these smaller sections, don't be afraid to just take a minute and just even that line back up. Otherwise, it'll just kind of become a big mess. Okay, we have the front all done, and so now I'm just going to go ahead and touch up anything that looks like it just needs a little extra flair. Still leaving those hairs out of the way. Bleach does expand, even if it's not one that's known to get as poofy as this one sometimes can. Bleach in general will expand at least a little bit, so keep that in mind too. So apparently that took, in total, all of this chit chat and everything I've been doing, took me about 25 minutes. So now I'm going to just go ahead and start a timer for how long it's actually going to be sitting in the front of my head while I finish the back. So now for the back, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to just work this and bring it all forward. If it's too much for you to do it like into one piece, you can just split it in half down the middle and work in sections. I can also make it a lot easier. For me, my hair is shorter and my bleach is starting to get a little too poofy for my liking. So I'm just going to hurry up and apply it all in one section. But yeah, like I said, if you're not used to it or you're having a hard time, I would split it in half down like the middle. Just work like that. So this is my Framar Funked Up film. Been using this for quite a few years now. So now here's where you can see me starting at the top. This is only my second time doing it this way, so I decided to just start right there in the middle. You can see I already have my perimeter started. And now I put that plastic on the front of my head so that I can just lay all of the hair up as I go down the back of my head. So you're going to see me take those same thin sections that I did before. And like I said, I like to hold on to the piece of hair so I can move it and make sure that I'm getting both sides saturated properly. Since I'm newer to this technique, you can see I'm just working towards the sides, but keeping everything even as I go. I always start in the middle. I like how I say to do this 2 other ways, and I just proceed to go and try something completely different. But this seems to be working out so far this way. So just continuing down the back of the hair the same way that we've been doing. As I get farther back, you'll be able to see everything match up on the sides. So if you do try this, feel free to just do what works for you. Don't be afraid to like pivot your plan. But just keeping all your sections brushed and organized is really what's going to help, I think, the most in the long run. You can see the bleach is really starting to swell. And I honestly should have just mixed a brand new batch when I started the back of my head. But I was so scared that I wouldn't have enough if I did that. I just decided to go for it. So this back is probably not going to have the same lightening power that the front of it did when we first mixed it. And I just think it's important to point that out for all of you at home, just in case you're going to do this. It's just what's going to give you the best results. So now you can see we're getting more back to the bottom here. Now I can really see how dark some of my regrowth is because, you know, the sun doesn't see my regrowth back there. And then go ahead and do the baby hairs. Okay, so I got all of the back done. I didn't do any like cross-checking yet because it's kind of a disaster. So I went ahead and did my baby hairs underneath. And so since I did that, I'm going to go ahead and get my baby hairs up here done so that it all matches up. Okay, so we smoothed out the back, made sure I wasn't missing anything. So now we're going to go ahead and come cross-check the front. This has swelled quite a lot. It's been sitting here. Honestly, moving forward, I would definitely mix new bleach if it got to this point. Okay, so cross-checking. Basically, whatever way that you bleached your hair or colored your hair, you're going to want to go the opposite way. So you can see I'm going up, down. That's when you can touch up and you'll be able to see if you have any cheetah spots or anything that you missed. And then here, now I am going to do my front baby hair section, just right there around the hairline to go ahead and even that up with the underneath. So you can see how with this technique, you can just basically move forward with your hair cross-checking and everything lays back so nice and you have less overlapping that way. All right, there we are. I got the bag on my head and the front is honestly looking really good. So I'm just gonna keep track of my time. I got quite a few different timers, so it's all over the place. I'll fill you in on exactly how long I leave it in. Like I said, they recommended a max of 45. As soon as that all kind of matches up, I think I'm good to go. Like I said, I don't know quite how light. I don't need to go like insanely light blonde. But this is probably going to take a little more time than usual because like I said, it's just a lower lift than we're used to. If I would have remixed my bleach about halfway through with fresh bleach, because, you know, you're going to get more lift in the first, 30 minutes. And just seeing how much it was swelling, yeah, I feel like I should have used the little bit I had left and done a fresh batch. I could have given everything as I was cross-checking, just a little kind of pat through with some fresher bleach. I think that what we have done so far will work. I do like to go ahead and clean up all of my mess while I'm waiting. Just makes it easier, obviously, if you're up to it. I think we're going to be okay, but we'll see. You never really know until it's completely washed out and dried. I will say it's probably going to end up being just a tiny bit more brassy or yellow than usual just because it doesn't have that slight blue tint to it. But for what I needed to light my roots for, I'm sure it's going to work just fine. It's at the point now where when we finished the front and I started the back, it's been about 60 minutes. So obviously I went over the recommended 45-minute processing time. And so what I like to do is kind of, yeah, come and check up here and it looks like a super light pale blonde. If you weren't doing vivid colors and you were going to do like an actual tone after this, not like how I do sometimes with like shampoo or conditioner or, even purple hair dye and conditioner, you're going to do like an actual tone. Then this would be actually a perfect color. It's super pale blonde, you can tell. And like I said, there wasn't any kind of blue toning agents in this type. So yeah, either way, that looks like a good color for toning. Where I ended up, where I did this part last here, because that bleach had already been sitting mixed for so long, it's still kind of slightly browner, but not enough for it to matter. So I think that's going to be kind of a personal preference on my part if I want to let that lighten more. You could always just go in and tap a little bit more on, afterwards or something like that if it's not quite even. But yeah, if I would have done what I normally would and just mixed a little bit of fresh bleach, either when I started the back section or before I went through and kind of touched everything up and cross-checked, this would have all caught up way quicker with each other, having that little extra boost, and this probably wouldn't have just that slightly brassy-ish tint still there. So that's something I would highly recommend, is to just maybe try and take the time and to just mix those extra parts of bleach. But I still think our results are going to be really good. Guess we can go ahead and do a little reveal. So we definitely got yellow, probably more yellow than we should. And this is actually another tip from Sabrina the Hair Witch, which I love the name, is she doesn't don't lather your hair, So I'm guessing don't get in there, get all rough with it and be like, rah, to get it out, We're going to try and be gentle. We're going to try and be smooth. We're going to rinse. So that's another thing I'm going to try and be really careful about. With my neuropathy, I can sometimes be a bit too rough on my hair, so. Whee. She's yellow, but she's blonde, and I shouldn't have any cheetah spots. I double cross-checked. IGK 4-in-1 Prep Spray. I'll link all these below as well. And this is the BLONDME Blonde Wonders Balm. I love it. It is the balm. It's the next day, and I am just so happy with how everything turned out. First of all, it is so shiny and it feels so healthy. I didn't have any breakage. There was honestly no hair in the drain, which even for a normal wash, that's kind of strange. So I was really impressed with just everything overall. There obviously was a few things I would have done differently. As I was looking at my hair, I noticed it still has like all of my natural wave pattern. It just looks healthier. It feels nice and thick. I went in with the BONDBAR Bonding Recovery. And I just kind of lightly put that all over, left it on while I was still in the shower for about 5 minutes. Honestly, I think it was less than 5 minutes. And then I went ahead and followed up with their bonding shampoo. Like I said, I didn't do a super big lather or anything. Now their shampoo, and I do have videos on all these BONDBAR products. I went ahead and tried quite a lot of their stuff, so that's why I obviously have it. So if you guys want to know about this brand more in depth, just go check out my videos. See how it's kind of like more clear? So I went ahead and mixed that with my Clairol Shimmer Lights Blonde Toning Shampoo. Normally, you would want to use like purple for more yellow tones and blue for more orangey tones. I'm just kind of running low on everything, and I couldn't decide if it was leaning more towards like orangey, brassy, or yellow. So I just went with it. I threw this in with my shampoo. It was real gentle, no like insane lather. Let that all rinse out. And then I just followed up with the BONDBAR Bonding Hydration Mask, which honestly I really like. I've used it before. That might be helping a little bit with how just shiny it is. I left that on a little bit longer. I'd say 15 minutes. And then after I rinsed that mask out, since I was out of K18, then for my leave-in conditioner, I followed up with the IGK Good Behavior 4-in-1 Prep Spray. Like I said before, this has like the keratin. I thought that would help since we just bleached our hair, help restore some of that. I also really like this. This is one of the things I've been using quite a bit. You don't want to overdo it and use it constantly. I think it's good to kind of switch things up in your routine, but this is something I really love. On top of that, I put just a little bit on my mids and ends, just the smallest bit of this BLONDME Blonde Wonders. It's just like an end sealer and anti-frizz balm. I like it because I have naturally kind of wavy hair. It's very thick, a lot thicker than it probably looks right now. So it just really helps my hair to just kind of have sometimes just something a little bit thicker. Look at this. I'm just loving my hair right now. So I went ahead with that, and then to follow everything up, I just put a little bit of OLAPLEX oil number 7 on my ends just to seal everything in. I didn't follow up with any oil this morning or anything. I have not brushed it, but it'd be funner to do that with all of you. Here's our before and afters, and obviously it's a little bit brassier than I would normally have it, but for me, this is the perfect tone for what we're going to go in and do anyways. Yeah, this is what we're working with. I still think it did a really good job, and like I said, my hair feels so healthy. Everything's really even. It's not patchy. And I also think I did a good job not overlapping. One thing you can do though, if you were me in this situation and you didn't really want these pinks and blues in your hair, towards the end or whenever you're comfortable, you can go ahead and run some of that bleach just right on the color where you're trying to remove it, or just maybe lighten it a little bit. That's something that I debated doing, and I decided that I was fine. I would rather just not do that this time if I could get away with it. I think our haircut is growing out really well too. So here's some before and afters of the back. See how me doing that perimeter right here really makes sure that everything ties into the back. So even though I haven't looked really at the back too much, but I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit darker, you can see that if it is, it's going to be more hidden underneath here, and make sure that all these sections up here had that lightener on at the same time, so that was all definitely going to process evenly. So yeah, there is still all that blue and all that peach in there, but like I said, that's because I wanted to keep it there. I could have easily pulled that lightener down, and I feel like it would have stripped it just right out perfectly. Leaving out the baby hairs in the front and the back, look at that. So I don't have any damage down here, which is one of my problem areas. And same with like up front. Look at that. Look at these baby hairs. Look at how strong. And I think that it's going really well, and I think that my hair is responding really well to it. And I was a lot less stressed as well. I just feel more confident with this technique. And just in general, I really enjoyed it. So thank you to BLONDME Schwarzkopf, even though I'm not really used to using this 7 levels of lift one. But yeah, besides that, I'm happy with my brassy. I can move on with my life into the next stage because I am ready for some color. I hope you're all ready for some color. Can't wait to see what you all think. Comment below. What do you think the next hair color is going to be? And also don't forget, my Instagram is linked down below and in my bio in case you want to go check that out. Stop by, say hey, whatever. If this was your first time here, I hope that you subscribe so that you don't miss the rest of this hair transformation. Thank you all again so much for being here, and I really hope to see each and every one of you in the next videos. Much love. Have a beautiful day.